Now, in the previous video and previous to previous video, we have seen in the first video of transportation, we have seen the components of the blood. Then we have seen the different types of blood vessel in which the blood is flowing. And now we have to see the heart, which is continuously pumping the blood via the arteries to the tissues. Okay. So if you see what is heart? So heart is basically a muscular organ. Where it is located? So it is located two-thirds to the left side of the chest. If you talk of the size of the heart, so it is just the size of the fist. That is, इसको मुट्ठी बोलते हैं. That is, it is of size of our fist. Then, if this is the internal structure of the heart, and you will be able to see that the left side and the right side of the heart is divided or not divided, yeah, divided or separated by a partition which is called as septum. Okay. What happens? The left side of the heart always receives and transports the oxygenated blood, whereas the right side of the heart always receives and transports the deoxygenated blood. So this partition basically in between helps to prevent the mixing of oxygenated with the deoxygenated blood. Now let us see in detail the different structures of or parts of heart. So as I have told you that the left side of the heart, that means this one, it always receives and transport oxygenated blood. And right side, if you see right side of the heart, that means this, it receives and transport only the deoxygenated blood. And both can be separated with the help of a partition which is called as septum, which will prevent the mixing of both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay. Now there are four chambers in the heart. The first chamber is called left atrium. The second chamber is called right atrium. The third chamber is called left ventricle. Fourth chamber is called right ventricle. Okay. Now we have a valve or flap-like structure which is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle, that is called as bicuspid valve. Similarly to this, we have another valve-like structure or flap or gate-like structure which is present between the right atrium and between the right ventricle. The function of these valves is to prevent the backflow of blood from the previous chamber. Suppose the left ventricle is pushing the blood to this blood vessel, that is aorta, then this bicuspid valve will close. Okay, this closes because so that the blood which is moving to this side, it should not move back to the first chamber of the heart, that is left atrium. Okay. Similar is the function of tricuspid valve. Whenever the right ventricle is pushing the blood into pulmonary artery, it should remain closed so that there is no backflow of blood into the previous chamber from which it has received the blood. Then you have pulmonary vein, which is bringing the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the first chamber of the heart, that is the left atrium. Then you have pulmonary artery, which is taking away the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle back to the lungs for oxygenation. Then you have the largest artery, which is aorta, which is taking away the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle and sending it to the tissues. Then you have superior and inferior vena cava, which is bringing the deoxygenated blood and throwing it into the right atrium of the heart. Then you have two more valves, that is pulmonary valve, which is present between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. You have aortic valve, which is present between left ventricle and the aorta. And pulmonary valve together with the aortic valve is called as semi-lunar valves. Now, let us see how the circulation occurs now. We have seen the parts of the heart. that it has four chambers, as you are able to see: right atrium, left atrium, left ventricle, and the right ventricle. Okay. Now, what is the movement of the how the blood exactly flows? So just look into the arrows which I am showing you. The oxygenated blood is first moving via the pulmonary vein and throwing the oxygenated blood into the left atrium. Then left atrium is pushing the blood into left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the blood is being pumped to the aorta, which is the largest artery. This aorta will send the oxygenated blood to the tissues. From the tissues, the deoxygenated blood will be collected by inferior and superior vena cava, and it will throw the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. From the right atrium, the blood is transported to right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it will get transported to the pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery will get connected to the lungs for the process of oxygenation. Okay. Similar is the diagram over here, which is a bit simplified, where you are able to see these lungs. And in the lungs, where exchange of gases take place. So exchange of gases take place in the alveoli of lungs. So we have already discussed that in the alveoli is surrounded by a network of blood vessels, okay, where where the gases get exchanged into the capillaries, okay. So here the oxygenated blood from the oxygenated blood from the lungs is being transported via pulmonary vein into the heart. That is the first chamber, that is the left atrium. Then from the left atrium, the blood is being transported to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the blood is being transported via the aorta, which is the largest artery. This largest artery now will divide into several branches so that it can transport to different organs of the body. So depending upon to which organ it is moving, there are different names of the artery. Like if it is kidney, the name is renal artery. Okay. So like this, there are different names depending upon the wherever the oxygenated blood is moving. Now, from there, in each and every organ, there will be a place where exchange of gases, exchange of materials will going to take place. So everywhere you are able to see a capillary, which helps in the exchange of material, which I have already told you that capillaries help in the exchange of material from the tissues. So once the exchange of materials have taken place, the deoxygenated blood will move from all the different organs via a vein. Okay, and again the names will be different depending upon from which organ it is coming out. So if it is liver, then it is called as hepatic vein. So all the different veins which is coming out from the different organs, they will be collected via the inferior vena cava and from the superior vena cava. Inferior and superior vena cava, the names have been given because this particular vein, this larger vein, is collecting the blood from the parts which are present, or the organs which are present below the heart, and superior vena cava is bringing the deoxygenated blood from the parts which are present above the heart. Okay, so this deoxygenated blood is then pushed into the right atrium. From the right atrium, it enters the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it moves via the pulmonary artery, it moves to the lungs for the process of oxygenation. This is how the blood circulates across your body. Now, normally you must have heard about, you must have seen that whenever you go to a doctor, okay, there are doctor put a stethoscope and tries to hear certain sounds. Okay, that is called as heartbeat. Okay, and the sound which is heard is loop and do, loop do, loop do. So this loop do is counted as one heartbeat. In normal resting state, your heartbeat, the rate is 60 to 100. That means if you're sitting just like that, you're sitting idle. So you will have, your heart will beat around 60 beats per minute. BPM is beats per minute. And if you're doing certain exercise, you're working, so it may go beyond, it may reach up to 100 beats per minute. Okay. From where does this sound originate? Okay. These sounds originate because of the contraction and relaxation of the chambers of the heart. Okay. Now, if you see, once it will never happen that only the half portion of the heart will contract or relax. Both the upper portion, both the upper parts of upper chambers of the heart, like left atrium and the right atrium, okay, they will first be in the receiving the blood. They will be first receiving the blood. So left atrium will be receiving the blood from the pulmonary vein, and right atrium will be receiving the blood from superior and inferior vena cava. But this left atrium will be receiving the oxygenated blood, and the right atrium will be receiving the deoxygenated blood. Okay. So that means they are in the relaxed state, since they are just receiving the blood. So they are in the relaxed state. So they are called as in diastolic phase. Okay. Now these valves, the valves which are present when they are receiving the blood, okay, when they are receiving the blood, that at that time these valves, that is bicuspid and tricuspid valve, have to remain closed so that this chamber gets filled. Okay, so these chambers, they close, but at the same time what happens, these valve, that is aortic and pulmonary valve, they open. Okay, so once these close, okay, a sound is heard which is called as loop. So the first stage is your diastole. The first stage is your diastole, that is these chambers are initially, they are in the relaxed state, they are just receiving the blood, and at that time these two valves, that is tricuspid and the mitral valve is nothing but the bicuspid valve, this is just another name of the bicuspid valve. So these two valves remain closed, but these two open. So as soon they are relaxed, these two valves close and a sound is heard which is called as loop. After that, the upper chambers of the heart, they will enter into systole. Systole means contraction. Contraction means the walls of these chambers, the walls of the right atrium and the walls of the left atrium, they will try to push push the blood. They will contract, the walls will contract, and they will push the blood to their respective ventricles. So right atrium will move the blood to the right ventricle, and left atrium will push the blood to the left ventricle. So for that, what you require a simultaneous movement of the valve. At that time, these bicuspid and tricuspid valves will open, but these two, pulmonary valve and aortic valve, that is semilunar valve, will close, producing a sound loop. Okay. So once they are in the systolic phase, they are pushing the blood to the to the ventricles. After that, what will happen? The So that means at the same time when they are contracting, these upper chambers are contracting, they are in the systolic phase, these ventricles are in the diastolic phase. That means they are relaxed, they are just receiving the blood from the upper chambers. After that, what will happen? Again, systole will happen. Systole where? Systole in the ventricles. That means now the walls of the ventricles, they will try to contract, and when they will contract, what will happen? They will push the blood to their respective blood vessels. That means left ventricle is going to push the blood to the aorta, and right ventricle will push the blood to the pulmonary artery. Okay, so once they are contracting, these these valves, again the bicuspid and tricuspid valve will close, producing a sound loop, and these semilunar valves will open. So the closing and open, or simultaneously closing and opening of the valves, produces a sound loop and loop, which is operated by the contraction and relaxation of the chambers. Is that clear? Now, before we move ahead, so I have told you that the normal resting heart rate, okay, that is between 60 to 100, okay. So if you're sitting just like that, the normally your heart should beat around 60 beats per minute, and if you're doing certain exercises, it may go to up till 100. But what will happen if your heartbeat goes down below 60, or what will happen if it goes above 100? Okay, so it is in general, it is a scenario that with the age, your heartbeat decreases. So that is a normal situation, and it happens because of the wear and tear of electrical systems in the heart. That contraction of the heart and relaxation of the heart is regulated by the signals, electrical signals, which are generated in the heart itself. So with the age, those signals are weakened, and because of which what happens, you have a low heart rate. So this is with age, and that is understood. What are the signs and symptoms of low heartbeat? So that is lack of energy. If you're feeling lack of energy, you have low stamina, you have dizziness, you feel weak, you have weakness, you have chest pains, you have heart palpitations or memory problems, then in that case, you can suspect that you have a low heartbeat. Your heart is not contracting and relaxing properly. Okay. And if it goes below 30, then the brain, that means your brain is not getting enough oxygen, and at that time your blood may even pool into the heart itself, causing a congestive heart failure. Now there are chances when you have a heart rate more than 100, and that is a dangerous situation. If you are running, you are doing a strenuous exercise, if you are doing a strenuous exercise, then it is quite obvious that you know the reason, and you are doing strenuous exercise. In that case, what will happen? You have a high heartbeat. And after that, when you will come to the normal, you're not running, so that heart rate will become again normal. So if you know the reason, there is no absolutely no problem. But then the other causes which causes high heart rate is anxiety. अभी आप ज़्यादा घबराते हैं, you have stress, pregnant women have high heart rate. If you are taking caffeine, alcohol, you have low red blood cell, you are anemic, your heart muscles have weakened. In such situations also, the heart rate goes beyond 100, and that becomes a dangerous situation, because if your heart is beating too fast, your heart muscles, because they are doing work, they are beating fast, then that means their heart muscles require more and more oxygen, and due to the deficiency of the oxygen at that time, your heart cells may starve because of the oxygen, because they might not get sufficient oxygen at that time, which may lead to heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac arrest, or may even lead to death. Okay, so that was with respect to the heart rate. If it goes below or if it goes high, then what could be the situation? Now, in the next video, we will cover blood pressure. Okay, what is blood pressure, and how you can measure blood pressure.